So this is our last portion of the meeting in which we will figure out how to become a better speaker. And so the 3 speakers who have already spoke today will be evaluated by another 3 members of the audience. And these people have been studiously listening to this person's speech and are going to tell them how to improve. So the first evaluator we have is FR evaluating Slate. And to give you guys just a general background, evaluators have 2 to 3 minutes to evaluate. Welcome up, FR.
Hello, everyone. My name is FR, but my full name is Faisal Rahman. I love it when people say it properly. Just a side note. I was given the task of evaluating Kirk. No. Slate, Redmond. Slate Nations. Your presentation content was amazing. I loved it. If I had to give any feedback, I have a couple of things. Your body language. So I noticed a couple of times when you didn't know what to say, you started looking at your feet and your hands would come really close to your body. That has 2 effects actually in the speech. It shows that you're lacking confidence and that you're not bullish enough. And it shows uncertainty. It means you don't know what you're going to say next. And I'm doing it right now, you're stumbling. You don't want to stumble on words. If you don't know what to say, don't use or, just take a small pause. What that does, I did it right now. You guys didn't even notice it actually, but you thought it was part of it. But what that does is it makes you seem like you're thinking about what you want to say, and it comes out as more thought of, more planned out. Other things, everything else was good. I mean, you had the content, but the detail. So you touched on a topic, and you had so much potential to explore that topic, but when you went into it, you gave us a brief summary, and then you tried to cover a lot of ground, which was good, but you didn't go all the way down. So I mean, it's like a well. You have a well. You went to 3 feet down when you could have gone 10 feet down and shown us all this new information about you. Stuff I did like. I like the fact that you had the cool pizza on there and the color blue, which is really cool. I also like that you had an entire outline ready, so you could just go to something, point it out, let everybody know what your idea is. You left them room for speculation, so they could be like, the United States, where is that? Oh, and one thing, if you ever feel a little unconfident or hesitant, I take this to everybody. I always roam around with them also. Take a mint. They actually really good for 2 reasons. They calm you down. So in the middle of a speech, if you're feeling a little jittery, nobody's gonna notice you pull out a mint inconspicuously and just eat one. I'm actually eating one right now, but I bet you didn't know that. The reason it actually helps you, it calms you down, is because it affects your amygdala. It goes to your brain, and the amygdala is the control center for fear and emotion. It reduces fear and anxiety, and as a result, you feel calm. And so, also, it tastes good. If I have to say anything else, I liked your body posture. Your back was straight, not slumped over, and your shoulders were relaxed. Good stuff.
Awesome job, FR. This is your first time.
Yes.
And great job being evaluated. Okay, so next we have Tyler Chan evaluating Kirk.
Oh my gosh. This sounds like Raheem. Some of these things. Anyways, so Kirk, this is your first speech. It was a very good first speech. I was very surprised because you're like, man, I don't know how I'll do in this first one. And you came in, what's up everyone? Y'all watch the Super Bowl? I was like, oh dang. Brought in the energy, brought in the hook, and everyone was listening and very hyped. And your tone is excellent. Going into that, you're very hyped and you're very humorous. And then all of a sudden you switched to human trafficking. It was a very good way of transitioning from one topic to another. But one thing I would mention is that going from a tone like that, where it's very optimistic, very bullish, to one that's very somber, it's a little extreme, and then some people might get a little uncomfortable doing that. But it was something that kind of caught me off guard, but it worked out in the very end when you kind of brought it all together. Is we should act on this, and we shouldn't just sit on our hands and just watch it happen. To relieve some of this change in tone, I would say to introduce the idea of trafficking and the horrors it can have at the very beginning, rather than having it just be sort of brought onto us at the midway point. Although it would kind of change the introduction of having a very optimistic introduction, it would be less extreme for people to have to think about. For your speech, though, in your terms of your speaking, you did a really good job of not using any filler words. I didn't catch any. And then once you're up here, you had your notes on the chair, and I felt like you didn't really need your notes. You mentioned right before the meeting, you're like, I have to try to memorize the rest of the speech. And then I was like, okay. But it seems like you knew the entire thing, and then this was just like a safety blanket. I don't think you need the safety blanket. I think you can just go straight in, and then no matter what happens, if something, maybe you forget a line, I think you can just plow through it. And then you have a very good habit of just embracing silence. That's something we try to teach everyone, where you just embrace the silence rather than saying, and so you do a really good job of that. So overall, for your first speech, that was some A-tier speech. So I can't wait to hear what your next one is. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Tyler. So everyone was on time for evaluations, and then can we get the off-time report?
So basically, I did the filler words for the major roles. So Slate, he had 1 to us, 11 ands, and 2 so's, 3 yeahs. Kurt, you didn't have any. Congratulations on your first speech. And then Tyler had 5 buts and 1 That's it.
All right, thank you. And Trisha, the grammarian report.
So good job to everyone. It's special congratulations to those who used the word of the day. The word of the day. With regards to grammar, I didn't notice any run-on sentences, but what I did notice was using words or phrases such as and so, and yeah as a way to transition into the next sentence. So the effect of that is you don't know where the sentence starts, but then it kind of like goes with and yes, blah, 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 and yes, blah, blah, blah. So it's like a one run-on sort of paragraph. So just being mindful of that. As well as the word things. Yeah, I know that's like a colloquial term, but maybe, especially for a speech that you're preparing for, using specified words. So replacing with like this thing or this item, as an example. Just to keep those in mind.
All right, thank you, Trisha. So at this time, you guys can vote for whether you think FR or Tyler Chan was a better evaluator.
I feel bad if there's someone for me.
Wait, how do you pronounce your name?
FR. Oh, the full name. Please let us man. You just smile and say it.
Yeah, okay, you say slow.
Please let us man. It's okay. I have a
Yes.
comment. The part where I said the amygdala and the mint affects the amygdala, it makes you less nervous. I made it up on the spot. That's not a true scientific fact. Just letting you guys know. Don't actually do that on tests.
Or it's coincidentally a true side.
Yes, or coincidentally.
Interesting comment. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on my evaluation of the overall meeting, and you guys can go ahead and keep filling out your ballots, and even leave some evaluation for Tyler Burnett, and anything else left on your ballot. So, we started 6 minutes late, and so I would suggest the Toastmaster just coming in like a little bit earlier, but as you told with your story, I'm sure that it took a lot of effort today already just to get a new outfit. So thank you for telling us that and being transparent about that. I did notice that there are 3 people on this side of the room and much more on this side of the room. So if you happen to notice that, feel free to sit on this side or whatever side is more uneven. And for the Toastmaster, I liked how you said at the beginning, you asked everyone please be respectful and listen before starting the first speech. And you also did a good job explaining what your role as Toastmaster was as well. A lot of people don't do that. Again, I like the story of how you related your outfit to theme of silver linings, and it was also smart. You kind of caught yourself by writing down the word of the day while you were putting down our our feedback for the first speaker. So you used time wisely in that sense. And it was also really fun to see you take the stage with a pocket speech. And so this rarely ever happens. I think this is the first time I've seen this in the 1.5 years I've been here. But I think this is a skill of a really experienced speaker. So if you are able to have a pocket speech, which just basically means you have a speech in your, not literal, pocket, that you can just take out, that you have prepared already, this kind of shows other people that you're willing to take a risk and that you're prepared for emergency situations like that. And I thought it was really cool that Tyler Burnett was able to share specialized knowledge that he had with us, because I know I definitely learned something new from that speech. So now moving on to table topics. Zach, I would suggest, for any other table topic masters who are going to do this in the future, I would suggest having just at least one regular member go up to the front and give a table topic, just so that new members, if they're called up, they just know what to expect. And I believe for the rules, we are doing 30 seconds. We're allowing a 30-second grace period over, but not a 30-second grace period under. So people have to just speak for at least 1 minute. And I did like your theme. It was quite innovative, especially since you tied in Valentine's Day with Silver Linings and then brought in Silver Linings Playbook and then talked about the movie. That was a pretty cool idea. All right, now moving on to the evaluators. FR, who evaluated Slate. Great job. This was your first evaluation, and really proud of you for that. You used the word of the day, which is even more impressive. Let's see. I would suggest memorizing the name of the person you're evaluating. It's a simple thing to do.
I was
but
looking at all the names at the same time, and they blurred.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes it is hard. And I really like your well analogy. I don't know if you just made that up on the spot, but if you create an analogy, that's something that really is able to stick in your head better. And I guess I have one thing to say about the mint thing. Even though that isn't entirely realistic, like psychologically, if you do eat before something happens, that's basically telling your body that you're okay. So like evolutionary or biologically or whatever, when you eat, your body knows that you're in an okay state. So there is some truth behind that fact that you just made up. You also didn't use notes, and you were able to point out certain categories of feedback. So that was a great thing. And then Tyler Chan, evaluating Kirk, you used the word of the day in a very smooth manner, and you were also very observant when it came to the fillers. I didn't really notice the fact that he didn't use any fillers, but that was a great observation. And that is my evaluation of the meeting. And everyone, thank you for having me as your general evaluator, and feel free to fill out feedback for me. And with that, let's welcome Tyler Burnett back to the stage.
Thank you, appreciate it. That was a very, very, very thorough evaluation of the meeting, and that's how every evaluation should look. But everybody's different in how they do things. I thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight. It was a great meeting, and I think we had some good table topics, some good speeches, some great evaluations, some first-timers. And so with that being said, I don't have much to say except for goodbye, and I will get Tyler Chan to come up and close out the meeting.
Thank you.